College students polled on identity agree short white man can identify as tall Chinese woman. This headline pulled me in on an article a little while ago. It turned out to be a video by Joseph Backholm. He went around the University of Washington college campus and asked students about their tolerance of identity. With every single question that he asked, the Washington University students were, for the most part, really tolerating and really nice. Rock on, you dub. He started off the video by saying,
"There's been a lot of talk about identity lately, but how far does it go? And is it possible to be wrong?"
By starting off his video this way, he is ultimately saying that by the end of this video, the conclusion will be, yes, it is possible to have the wrong identity. He starts out asking students about the argument that's been happening over whether or not transgender people or gender non-conforming people should be able to use the facilities of their choice.
I think people should be able to have access to the facility.
I think bathrooms could and potentially should be gender neutral because there doesn't need to be a classification for differences.
I think people definitely should have the ability to go into whichever locker room they want.
I feel like at least public universities should do their best to accommodate for those who do not have a specific gender identity.
Then he starts getting into the gritty.
Told you that I was a woman, what would your response be?
Good for you, okay, like...
Then he goes and asks them what they would say if he told them that he was Chinese. Alright, let's hold up for a second. He says this for hopefully a shocked and confused response by his interviewees, which for the most part happens. But this is not okay because gender identity and nationality aren't even in the same ballpark. He's saying that he is a tall Chinese woman for a shock defect, something that's obviously wrong, and something that should be laughed about. You know, some 5'9" white guy saying that he's a 6'5" Chinese woman. I mean, I'd uncomfortably laugh too. The thing is, he's saying that if a transgender person tells you, oh, sorry, I actually identify as this gender, you're supposed to laugh at them? He used things that he was clearly not, like 7 years old, 6 feet tall, Chinese, to apply the attitudes of transgender and gender non-conforming individuals. When he asked the students what they would say if he told them that he identified as 6'5", one interviewee laughed and he asked why. She said, because you're not.
That I would question.
Why?
Because you're not.
Measuring someone's height is using a ruler, a standard form of measurement, while gender is solely something that you think about. It's something that you define for yourself. Gender is a spectrum, while 6'5" will always be 6'5". There's no gender ruler! Gender questioning is a very painful and sometimes long journey, and comparing it to thinking that you're the obvious wrong height than you are just belittles the dysphoria and the pain and the gigantic relief once life starts going your way. I think that's a little bit more than unfair. Before I go any further, I just want to say that Joseph Backholm cares a lot about people and the difficult questions out there, so that, you know, I can respect that. However, he frankly does not have the right to make this video. Everyone is of course entitled to their own opinion, but Backholm has no idea what he's talking about, has not done adequate research, but yet thinks that he knows better. Backholm is in the very fortunate position of being the majority, which is cisgender, so he doesn't know what it's like at all. Besides, by using the tactic of being like, oh, I'm a 6'5", you know, Chinese woman, which is something that appearance-wise he is not, that is all he's based on. He thinks it's obvious to tell when someone is not cisgendered, so like, oh hey, you don't look like a Chinese woman, you must not be a Chinese woman. Oh hey, you look a little bit like a man, you must not really be a woman. Like, what? He ends the video by saying this.
It shouldn't be hard to tell a 5'9" white guy that he's not a 6'5" Chinese woman. But clearly it is. Why? What does that say about our culture? And what does that say about our ability to answer the questions that actually are difficult?
Alright, honey muffin, let me tell you a thing. Transgender and gender non-conforming people are not asking for the impossible. We are not lying. We are not deceiving you in any way. We do not identify as infants, chipmunks, or Rihanna. We just identify with a gender that was not assigned to us at birth. And if that isn't extremely personal, I don't know what is. A lot of us are okay if you don't want to be a full-fledged ally. We don't necessarily need your support. We just want to use the right mother effing facilities. Mr. Backholm, are you seriously saying that transgender and gender non-conforming individuals should be told that we're wrong? What could possibly give you the authority to tell us that? Mr. Joseph Backholm, you need to stay in your goddamn lane. You started off this video by saying that it is possible to be wrong about one's identity. So I must ask, how do you know that you are right about yours? This is not supposed to be a trick question. I'm merely expressing the fact that you never had to think about it because you're cisgender. You're very fortunate to be in the position where you were always comfortable with the way you were, the gender you were assigned, the role that you were playing in society. You fit into that very well. Good for you. I'm congratulating you. You were born that way. Every single transgender person and gender non-conforming person was born that way too. I cannot say that you are wrong about your identity because you were born a white male. You cannot say that I am wrong about mine because I was also born as a white male. I just happened to have been told that I was female for 15 years until I had to flip that upside down, spend 2 years, 2 very painful years of gender questioning and identity crisis to figure out who I was supposed to be and who I'm most comfortable with. I believe that you created this video with the best intentions, I really do. Which is why you need to understand how insulting and harmful you're being, because I don't think that you meant to be. I'm a person of frank honesty, so in that way I'm willing to help you understand the problem with the way you view identity and the reason that it's not okay to think that it's unimportant. I want you to know, sincerely, from a transgender individual in the United States of America who lives 45 minutes away from the University of Washington, but the comparisons that you're making are insulting, harmful, inaccurate, and gender non-conforming and transgender individuals should just not be viewed like that. So Mr. Backholm, I leave you with this response video and the sincerest hope that you can find in your mind and in your heart to open yourself up to people whose one goal in life is to be accepted. Thank you.